Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for your hearts and home. My name is Dee Dee. Welcome into my kitchen. Today I have a restock video ready to share with you. We just took some time off from learning time and got some quality family time in, and so now I'm going to take the time to restock our kitchen and set us up for a successful week. The first thing I'll be sharing with you is tonight's dinner. We are having Jamaican-style curry chicken with rice and peas. I have already washed and broken down a whole chicken, and now I'm getting ready to put the seasonings on. I'm seasoning with my heart, but I will have a recipe linked in the description box that will be similar to what I am doing. I'm just going to put some salt, all-purpose seasoning, red pepper flakes, some Jamaican-style curry powder. I will also be using my Jamaican green sauce, and I will also be adding some fire cider powder to this mix, or fire cider seasoning. If you watched the previous video, you'll see that I use fire cider as one of our homeopathic remedies during the flu season, and after I break down all the ingredients and blend it, I like to dehydrate it. This is an example of how I incorporate a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon in my daily cooking, and it blends well, especially when you're doing curry, because it will just blend right into all the seasoning that you're already using. So once I've added the seasoning of choice, I'm going to go in with my clean hands and really massage this into the meat. Ideally, you want to do this from the night before, but in this case, I will be putting this on the stove right away. So once I have all the seasonings on that I'm planning to use today, I'm going to massage it into the chicken. On my stove, I have a large saucepan, and in that pan, I'm heating some grapeseed oil as well as a little bit of the curry powder. I'll let that saute for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add the chicken directly into my pan. In addition to making Jamaican-style curry chicken today, I also will be making Jamaican-style rice and peas. So in my bowl, I have kidney beans that have been soaking since a few hours ago. Now I'm going to add it to a stock pot and let it boil. These were dried beans and have not yet been cooked, so I have to give it at least an hour of cooking time before I add the rice. So while I'm cooking today, I'm going to keep an eye on the peas to make sure that they are cooking all the way through. Once they have cooked through all the way, then I'm going to add my washed rice to the same pot and allow them to continue cooking together. When my grapeseed oil is warm enough in my saute pan, I will add the seasoned chicken to that pan. I am going to cook it on one side for at least 15 minutes, and then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to add small bits of water to my saucepan, but not too much because I don't want to drown all the meat in water. I want to give it time to cook and cook through properly, but I also want to refrain from adding too much water, as that will end up broiling the chicken, which is not what I want to achieve. So the rice and peas and curry chicken is what we will be having for dinner today. And while that is cooking on the stove, I will be working on something else. I knew I was going to be in the kitchen all day today, so I went ahead and started my bread machine. My bread machine usually takes an hour and a half to prepare dough, and I knew I wanted to make some bagels today. So the bread machine has gone off and my dough is now ready, and I'm going to be shaping my bagels. The bread machine that I'm using will be linked down in the description box, as well as the recipe that I'm using. I'm using a basic bagel recipe. Now that my dough is ready, I'm going to cut it into 8 even slices as best as possible. I'm not striving for perfection here, so there might be a little bit bigger or smaller. It's okay. So essentially what I do is to take my piece of dough and I'm going to stretch it into itself a few times, and I'm going to continue to pinch the bottom. When I have a smooth surface on the top, I am going to flatten it slightly and then put it on my prepared pan. I try not to form the holes in my bagels right away. I like to let them rest for a bit before I form the hole. While my bagels are being formed, I also have my bread machine going with a second round of dough making. I will also be making a Dutch oven loaf, and so while I'm forming the bagels right now, my bread machine is going and making the dough for a Dutch oven loaf. That, like I said, will take about an hour and a half, and so that will give me time to work on something else. Once I'm happy with the formation of all the dough, I am going to cover it lightly and let it rest. While I do that, I'm going to get a large pot of water boiling on my stove. And to that pot, I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Now, other people have chosen to add honey, sugar, and other things to their water to get that pretzel-like coating. I prefer to use baking soda, and so that's what I'm doing. So now my pot of water is boiling and it's time to add my bagels to the water bath. I'm simply going to pull my bagel, pinch the middle with my fingers to form the hole, and then I'm going to put it on a slotted spoon and gently lower it down into my boiling water. I'm going to keep it in my water for approximately 1 minute, 30 seconds on each side. The longer it stays in the water and the more baking soda or additives that you put in the water, the darker your bagel crust will become. I wanted light bagels today, and so I've only put 1 tablespoon of baking soda in my water, and I don't add any more baking soda throughout the whole process. All 8 bagels will go into the water bath without adding any more baking soda. So while my bagels are in the water bath, I have another prepared pan. I've put a piece of parchment paper at the bottom of my pan that I plan to bake my bagels in. It is important to put the bagels from the water bath onto the pan you plan to bake it in. That way you're not moving them around too much and you won't cause them to deflate. At this point, if you want to add toppings, would be a great time to add toppings to your bagel. Some people will add everything bagel, cheese, cinnamon, sugar, lots of different topping options. For me, I wanted plain bagels today, and so I will not be putting any toppings on. So I'm just going to go through all 8 of my bagels by pinching a hole in the middle and gently lowering it into a water bath. After I've done this, I'm going to put it on the baking pan and pop it into my oven. My oven is in between 350 and 375 degrees, and I'm going to bake it until they're golden brown. If you would like a recipe for this bagel making in the bread machine, I will have it linked in the description box below. I have recently started making bagels within the last 3 months, and my family really enjoys them. I'm really happy that this is one more thing that I can add onto the list of things that I can make for us weekly. I am really committed to scratch cooking and have been scratch cooking for most of our married life, which is 15, 16 years at this point. But I feel like with many things, we fall into a trap and we get used to the convenience of things we can just pick up in the grocery store. Now, there are many things that I have replaced and I have been working to replace because I really want to do what's best for our family, and we're just really not happy with a lot of the things that we're finding today in the grocery stores. The ingredients are bizarre. I don't even know what some of them are and I can't pronounce them. So if I can figure out how to make something in my kitchen, I am committed to doing so. Bagels is new for me, but it's something that I enjoy doing. They're coming out great, and I promise you if you follow this recipe, you will have the same results. Here's a look at the finished bagels. They came out beautifully today, and I'm just excited that again, this is something that I can do for my family. I know what's in it, and I can feel confident with them eating this product. Alright, next I'm working on some banana bread. As you can see, I'm working on a lot of baked products today, and these products are to set us up for a successful week. My children are growing and they're getting more independent in the kitchen, and one way that they can continue to grow their independence is to work on making small meals for themselves. So right now, they're responsible for waking up and getting their breakfast going in the morning. So I do my part to get things prepped for them. Whenever I can, I'll prep ahead pancakes. I'll make some kind of bread product, whether it's a sweet bread or regular sandwich bread. I'll also have muffins or anything that we would like to use throughout the week. I usually have the bread products prepped for them. And that way, all they're responsible for is waking up and maybe scrambling some eggs, cutting up some fruit to go along with what I have already prepared. So for this week, we're going to have bagels as an option, and we will have banana bread as well. So here I am working on a double batch of banana bread. If you're interested in the recipe that I'm using, I will have it linked in the description box below. The recipe is very simple. Ripe bananas, you'll have some vanilla, some eggs, salt, some granulated sugar, some brown sugar, baking soda, baking powder, and I will also be adding some chocolate chips. So I'm first going to incorporate all the wet ingredients, and then I will do the dry ingredients separately, and then I will slowly add that to the wet ingredients just until it's incorporated. After that, I'm going to transfer my batter to my two prepared cast iron pans and get it into my oven. Alright guys, so here you can see my prepared cast iron pans. I have put the batters in evenly into both, and then I'm going to put it in my oven. I'm really excited that these recipes are really simple to follow because soon my children will be able to just make these on their own. And that's something that I'm looking forward to. So while all this is going on, my bread machine has gone off, and now the dough is ready that I will be turning into a Dutch oven loaf. I'm simply going to take the dough from the bread machine and transfer it to a well-greased bowl. I have greased the bowl with some butter, and I'm going to give it some time to rest. You can have this rested for up to 4 hours if that's what you choose to do. The longer you let it rest, the more aerated your dough will become, giving you that authentic Dutch oven loaf feel. I am going to let this rest for a short while, and then I'm going to shape it and put it into my oven. Like I said, you guys, we are so hooked on these Dutch oven loaves. I was so worried about trying this process, and now that I have tried it and see how easy it is to make, I feel like making them all the time. And so this has quickly replaced our weekly loaves of bread, at least for now. I'm sure we'll take a break from this at some point, but we are just loving this new style of bread. Okay, so while my dough is resting, I am going to make some chocolate chip cookies. My kids have been begging for cookies for a long time, and I usually am not a big cookie maker. Cookies have escaped me, and I have tried so many different variations, and I have become seriously frustrated with making cookies. They either don't rise or they spread or whatever variation you can come up with. But most recently, I have found a recipe that I absolutely love that has worked out time and time again and is now my trusted recipe. For that recipe, feel free to check the description box below because I will be sure to link it. So this recipe asks for you to cream together your sugars and your butters, and then you're going to add whatever other dry ingredients you're going to be using. So I will be creaming my sugar and my butter, then I'll add 2 eggs and some vanilla, and after that I will be adding the flour and the baking soda and the salt. At the end, I will be adding some chocolate chips and I'm also adding some peanut butter chips to these cookies. And guys, they came out phenomenally. I'm just gonna say, I think half the cookies were gone by the end of the night. They were so, so good. So I definitely will be baking this again. The fact that I was able to whip these cookies up so quickly is positive and negative because now I'm going to have to be whipping up cookies quite frequently. Anyhow, this worked out really great. I'm so happy to have found this recipe, and I'm just going to scoop these up and get them into my oven, and we will be enjoying this as a treat after dinner. So my batter is almost done. The wet ingredients have been incorporated and I'm going to slowly add the dry ingredients. I'm doing this for two purposes. One, I don't want flour flying everywhere. And two, this will allow the mixer to slowly incorporate the ingredients. I just don't want to add it all at once. I just want to take my time so I can gauge if I need to add more flour. Once I have added all the flour, I am going to add the other ingredients. Like I said before, I will be putting some chocolate chips as well as some peanut butter chips into the batter as well. You do not want to overmix this, you guys, so keep a close eye on the batter. Don't overmix it. My favorite part is adding all the chocolate chips and the peanut butter chips. It's just so fun. Alright, now this looks really, really good and it's time to start scooping it and getting it ready for my trays for the oven. So I'm just going to come in with my ice cream scooper and scoop out these cookies. This is basically like a double batch of cookies, so they're going to be really big. And I'm telling you, like I said, these were so good, half of them were gone by the end of the night. Alright, here's a look at all the cookies that I got out of that batter. They look so good, you guys. I'm so glad I found this recipe. Okay, so my dough is ready for my Dutch oven loaf. I'm going to shape it and get it into the Dutch oven and get it into my regular oven. I'm still playing around with designs and figuring out what works best for us. But really, you guys, I just love the taste of this bread. And once again, I'm so happy to have tried something new. My family loves it, and we will continue to make these for sure. For instructions for a recipe, please check the description box. I will try to link everything there for you so that you can follow along step by step so that you can make this as well. While I'm shaping the dough, I have my Dutch oven loaf in my oven coming up to temperature. And as soon as it is at the temperature that I need it to be, I will take my dough and place it directly into my Dutch oven. Now this is very hot, so be very careful with the transfer because this can cause some severe burns. It's important to be very careful with this transfer of the dough into the Dutch oven pan. Alright, you guys, here is the finished spread for the night. Here is a picture of my plate. We had rice and peas with some curry chicken, both Jamaican style with some fresh vegetables, and I put a bit of avocado on the side as well. I try to buy the avocado pods because this is one way I can get consistent avocado. I have a hard time picking out avocados in the store, and so I've started buying these avocado pods because whenever I need it, they're ripe, they're ready to go, and I don't have to worry about spoilage. Here's a look at the Dutch oven loaf and the cookies. Again, you guys, we're not striving for perfection here. We want taste. And these cookies were good. They were good. I will not deny that. Here is a look at the bagels as well as the 2 loaves of banana bread that I also made today. So we are set for the week. My children have many options for breakfast, and we have a nice sweet treat to enjoy after dinner. If you have any questions about anything that you saw in the video today, if you're interested in any of the recipes, please feel free to check the description box below. Thank you so much for watching my video, and your support has really warmed my heart. I appreciate all of you, and I see all of your comments. So please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will be sure to answer it. I appreciate you all, and I wish you all a wonderful week. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen today. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. All the best.